Welcome back to Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Anime Review, episode number 6. This is reviewing the first 4 episodes of season 2, aka episodes 14 to 17. These adapt from book 6, introduce the character Apollo. Yes, Apollo, the Greek god of the sun. And he is just as flamboyant as he's usually depicted in Greek mythology. Also, he introduces 2 of his subordinates. Well, though they're only part of his group for just this arc, I'll get to that soon. Where it's Daphne and Cassandra. Yep, 2 people, one of whom wanted nothing to do with Apollo in the original Greek mythology from what I read. Yep, Apollo lusted after Daphne. So, what was the response after running from him quite a while? Turned himself into a frickin' tree. So that, yeah, I'm sure Apollo got punished for that. Cassandra, of course, I believe, from what I read, she's named after the Princess of Troy. Yep. Another thing from, this person I think was real. But yeah, the Trojan Wars are definitely real. They took place over, at least about over 1,000, at least a long time ago, at least. Yep. And there's one other guy I've got to talk about. Guy, he is also part of the Apollon Familia. This is Hippocrates Chow. He is a brute. Yeah, he's a brute, and he does not like Belle at all. Mainly due to the fact that he's jealous over Belle for Apollo's affections. Yep. So, basically, after come back from a quest, which apparently we have the character from the Familia, Mikoto, yes, from the Tamazaki one, the one where basically ever looked like just from Japan. Yeah, she joins up with the group as sort of a ally of theirs for an expedition, and they basically get my money, and of course they go celebrating. Well, without her, because she wanted to go back with her own home, despite the fact also that Lily is part of their family, and so is Will. So they pretty much celebrate for a while until members of the Apollon Familia start poking fun at them, which they don't have a really big problem with. But Belle takes offense at when they poke fun at the god Estia. So he proceeds to beat the crap out of all of them. It turns into a barroom brawl until Hebrastias comes in and pretty much nearly kills Belle. Though luckily enough he's stopped by Betty. I can't call him mistakenly by Finn, but that's not Finn. Finn is a shorter guy. Betty is a beast character who is basically like 40 years old, looks pretty young for his age. Yep. And he says, why'd you interfere? You're killing my mood. Yeah, because he killed his mood. And I'm like, really? That's the reason why you decided to interfere in the fight? So, yeah. So, despite the fact Belle is pretty much beaten, he goes home, explains to Hestia that what happened, and she does accept the fact that he did defend her honor on her behalf. Of course, there's something about the relationship that gets basically asked a little bit later. And basically, Eve does chastise him for it, but he had a good reason why he fought them, because they basically insulted his goddess. Yeah, I'm sure any Familia basically would feel that way. Poking fun at him is fine. Don't punk fun of his goddess. Yep. So, and then this is where we get introduced to Daphne and Cassandra, who give him an invitation to his ball, to Apollo's ball. Both him and, of course, Hestia. Now, this I thought was a really cool scene. It's like, okay, so they decided to go. Of course, Belle was wearing basically a tuxedo, which I'm like thinking, this is supposed to be medieval era. How the heck come with tuxedos for, or at least horse? I mean, is this implied to be like in the 19th century? Yeah, basically the way. I'm not saying this takes place in the real world per se. It just seems like we're mixing in like medieval era with 19th century England, or at least 19th century Europe. It could be. I have no idea. And he puts on a pretty good suit. Hestia puts on a dress, which is the second time you see in the series where she's not wearing her traditional white outfit she's not wearing in the series. Yeah. And they go in, act like a couple. Of course, they run into Ainz and Loki. Loki, of course, because they tend to Pokemon for small chest, she dresses up in a suit. Yes, a goddess wearing a suit. Yeah. And of course, Ainz and Bell has sort of they stare at each other, though they do interact with each other later. And that's when Apollo makes his appearance. And how much of an arrogant jerk this guy is. Yeah, and apparently, according to Hestia, that apparently almost any time, basically, he tried to make an advance on her, she turned him down flat every time. Why? Because he lusts after women and men. Yeah, Apollo is bisexual, in case you're wondering, which this fact is actually true from the Greek mythology. Yeah, which I'm kind of surprised they brought into the show itself, because he has male and female lovers, so why the heck not? Though, at least, but in the case of Daphne, her basically working with Apollo contradicts her mythology counterpart. But don't worry about that. Yep, and then we had the dance, and Hermes comes in, basically chats in for a bit, and basically has Belle dance with Ainz. And from their perspective, now Belle has never danced before, neither has Ainz. And I gotta say, Belle did a pretty good job for his first time. I know, because I was trained in ballroom dancing, so there's that. Yep, danced for a while, and that's when Belle basically decides to challenge Hestia to a war game. She declines. And then, of course, she and Belle leave. Everything's going hunky-dory until, they go on a mission, go into a dungeon. They meet up with Lily and Will. So, it goes out the door, and who would have been outside? Why, the Apollo Familia, which start attacking them. And turns part of the city into a war zone. And pretty much Belle is doing a very good job protecting Hestia. And at one point, now they're protected also by Will and Lily helps them out. Of course, the Tatsu family helps them out too. They get to a secluded area, which they talk for a bit. And Hestia asks Belle, asks about his feelings for you. He's like, "Do you love me?" He's like, "I care how you do." He's like, "That's not what I ask." And then we got interrupted by an explosion. Though they run away for a while. And she's like, "That's it." Yeah, because his group dared to interrupt a very precious moment she wanted to have with Belle. So she basically marched to Apollo's mansion. "I accept." Well, basically at first she's asked the short guy "Glove, please." "Thank you." Throws it right in Apollo's face. And he says, "I accept." And he's he just says, "If I win, I get Belle." And they covered the iron the details. Of course, also Lily got taken back to the Soma Familia against her will, and so Hestia basically organizes a plan to rescue her. And Belle's job is to get stronger, so he basically trains with Ainz and one of the members of her family. I think it's Thomas. So one of the twins. Let's see. Yeah, it's one of those twin Amazons. Yep. So, of course, she's got a double-bladed weapon. Always cool to see these things. And they train for a while, and they get stronger. And then comes the actual day with the war games as well. And as for Hestia, they actually find where she is, and they go rescue her. And of course, they get into the fight with the Soma Familia. And of course, Lily tries to plead basically for her release, and Soma basically is complete ignorant. Basically, he does not know anything about what his familia is even up to, and he asks. Of course, she tries to whine, and of course, she breaks out thanks to her attachment to Belle, and she asks basically Soma to stop the fighting, and he does by throwing up his jars outside. Says stop the fighting, and is basically head of his groups. He gave orders. He's not supposed to do that. So he wants to kill, basically, Soma himself, Lily, like anybody else. Lucky enough that, thanks to support from thanks to an archer, able to run up and basically knock him the heck out. And then pretty much she's pretty much transferred to the Hestia. The Hestia Familia changed basically the stats on her back, which is the first time you see her actual back in the series like this. And of course, Mikito basically transfers to. She asks, and basically her god basically accepts it. Hephaestus basically, well, asks why. Well, because his friend, and of course, well, she kind of basically knows about his. Well, the thing is, Hephaestus and Well have a thing for each other, and he does not want to upset her, but he does want Transfer to be close to his friends, and she accepts it because she's an old friend of Hestia, so it's perfectly fine. So they got transferred, and so they got 5 person. Well, they initially also add Rio, the elf who worked as a barmaid, who's also a adventurer. Well, sort of a semi-retired adventurer due to her being blacklisted. And so Lily uses her transformation magic to infiltrate the castle because there's a castle siege. Yeah, 5 people infiltrating a castle with 100 people in it. Yep. So everyone's going to plow right through. Belle gets to the top. Excuse me. And of course, Cassandra basically tells him, like, please stop the fighting. Please, we have to surrender. He's like, no. Of course, he slaps her too. Yeah, I'm sure Belle, if he found out about that, he would basically even kill him for that because he does not like it when women get abused by other guys. He does not like that. He's very protective of women. So basically, Cassandra sort of tackles him to prevent him attacking him, but lucky enough that Lily comes in, pulls Cassandra away from Hesali's basically homing ring, and so Belle basically redirects takes it out. Of course, he also drops his knife as well, though he's able to basically lay a bunch of punches on him, and of course, Apollo's declared the loser. Hestia wins. Of course, the deal was basically if Hestia wins, she can do anything she wants to him, and because she won, it's like, I'm taking all your possessions and dismantling your familia, and you also have to leave the city and never come back. He's like, man, I love this place. That's what his probably his expression is. So, yeah, they pretty much took his wealth and they took his freaking house. And then we have this awesome moment, basically her drawing the first time ever the emblem for the Hestia Familia, which is the flames, basically representing her power, and Belle, the guy she's basically infatuated with. Which Belle doesn't mind his name, of course, using actual Belle representing him on the actual thing. It's perfectly fine with him. He loves it, and this is a symbol new Familia, so apparently it's got 5 people now. Don't worry, it's going to grow. But yeah, nice way to end this particular arc with a little happy note of them getting this freaking house. Yep, and this will serve as base operations. As far as I can tell from reading up to Book 8, still right now the base operations because their first home was destroyed by the Apollo family. So now Hestia is now wealthy because she took basically I think she probably took all of his money as well. Yeah, so basically she left him flat broke. Yep. Yeah, that's probably her response to basically trying to take her precious Belle. Yep. Pretty good set of episodes. Looking forward to basically watching and reviewing the next 4. Let's cover book 7 of the series. This should be quite interesting, okay? So, that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for episode 7. Cover the next 4 episodes of the series, okay? Produce the next video. Bye.